Hey, it's me again, Sarah. I wasn't planning on posting part 2 this early, but so many of you were asking for it. Here goes nothing. I'd been in the other world for about 3 days when I first started to feel hungry. Things work differently in the other world. You never need to use the bathroom, which I guess is a plus. Rarely get hungry, and you don't age. Luckily, when I did the ritual in the elevator, I had my beach bag with me as me and my family went out that day. I rummaged through my bag and found an apple and a bag of chips. Obviously, I chose the healthier option and I ate the chips. I only had to eat about 7 of them before I got full. Shortly after that, I started to get tired. I wasn't scared of falling asleep because I knew there was no chance of me surviving this alone. I was ready to die. The whole 3 days I'd been there, I stayed in one spot, right next to my elevator. I was too scared to leave. I put my bag beneath my head and lay on it. It took a few minutes for me to fall asleep while listening to the Shadows ritual song. I don't usually remember my dreams, but what I dreamt that night, it's gonna stay with me forever. In my dream, I had just stepped out of my elevator into the other world. I looked down the long corridor of hotel rooms and one specific door caught my attention. Second door on the left, room 263. The reason it caught my attention wasn't because of what I saw. No, it was because of what I heard. The lights were flickering and I could hear the shadows singing, but over their singing I could hear voices. 2 voices. But they weren't just any voices. I recognized them. It was Nico and Jenny. I moved slowly and carefully towards the door, the second door on the left. The voices were getting louder. I put my hand on the doorknob, but before I could turn it, the door flung open. I gasped in excitement to what I saw. It was Jenny and Nico. They were in the hotel lobby, right where we started the game. "Guys, you'll never guess what happened," I screamed as I ran up to them with tears in my eyes. But they didn't even look at me. They just carried on with their own conversation. It was as if I was invisible. "Do you think she's gone back to the room?" Nico asked. "She must have done. She's been gone for 30 minutes. Jenny answered him. They walked away from me, but before I could go after them, I woke up. I woke up in a cold sweat, crying. I was gonna die in here alone. The sound of the Shadow song was ringing in my ears. Once again, when I looked up, the second door on the left caught my eye. I stood up and stumbled over to the door 263. I put my hand on the knob and... "I wouldn't do that if I were you," I heard a voice come from behind me. I slowly turned around. I thought for sure this was the end for me. But when I turned around, I didn't see the creepy elevator lady, nor did I see a shadow. Nothing scary, it was a boy. He looked about my age. "Who are you?" I asked him as I wiped the tears from my face. "I'm Aiden. Who are you?" the boy exclaimed. I was about to answer his question when he said, "Wait, let me guess. You're Sarah?" He stared at me for a while as I stared back at him. We were both scared. "It says it on your beach bag," he continued. I looked over to my beach bag and saw that the label said Sarah. It was my luggage check from the airport. "How long have you been here?" I asked, cautiously, looking him up and down. Three months, he stuttered. "I heard you here on your first night, but I couldn't find the right time to introduce myself." I couldn't believe it. I wasn't alone. And maybe, just maybe, for the first time, there was a tiny chance of us getting out. I went from being ready to die to feeling just a sliver of hope, and despite the fear, it was the best feeling in the world. "Look," I'll tell you everything I know. Just promise me that you won't ever open any of the doors to the rooms, he said. Okay, promise, I muttered. I had so many questions. Now, tell me everything you know. We sat down against my elevator, staring out at the shadow ritual as he told me everything. So, you see the smaller shadows down there? He pointed into the street. They do that parade thing every night. They're worshiping their king and their emperor. The bigger shadow is the king, and the medium ones around it are the knights. He took a deep breath. I haven't seen the queen yet, and the emperor stays hidden, and you only see him if you get caught. I looked closer at the knights and saw that some of them had horses and some of them didn't. Aiden continues. Over here in the shadow world, a full moon happens every 7 days. And because there's no daylight over here, a full moon lasts 24 hours. For the first 12 hours, the king sends the knights out to go and find people like us. Sometimes the shadows in the ritual parade thing help. They're a bit like pawns. In fact, it's a bit like chess in a way. I stared at him in disbelief to all the things I was hearing. If the knights find us, they take us to the emperor, and nearing the end of the full moon, the emperor feeds on our souls. There was a long silence. What happens next? I remembered asking. Then we die, Aiden said with no emotion whatsoever. So basically, we hide out until we die? I laughed in fear. Well, yeah, unless we find a way out, he replied. Is there a way out? I choked. I don't know. I've tried everything I can think of. I tried repeating the elevator game, doing it backwards. I even tried pressing numbers I heard in my dreams. We looked down at the road, which was now empty. The shadow parade was over for tonight. Aiden got up and started to walk over to the stairwell. Just pay attention to your dreams. You never know in this place. They could mean something. He winked at me. Wait, where are you going? I yelled back at him. He turned around and exclaimed, Vending machine. You coming?